That word, impossible. What a powerful word. We've run into it today in our reading in Hebrews 11:6. There is an impossible. An impossible that we probably don't talk enough about in church. Probably don't talk enough about in our everyday life. Notice what the writer of Hebrews says. It is impossible. Impossible. Even more impossible than a parent having a favorite kid. It is impossible to please God without faith. Impossible. It is not possible. You can't do it, and you won't do it. It is impossible to please God without faith. And that leads us to a follow-up question. Well, why? Why is it? I mean, this word impossible, this is imperative. In the original language, it is absolute, it is ironclad, it is absolutely, fundamentally, theologically impossible to please God without faith. Well, why? Before we answer that why, I want us to lean in and sink into the context here of this ancient book. The context of this ancient letter. This is a letter written to Hebrews. Written to Hebrew people. That's why it's called Hebrew. Okay, tough crowd. And we'll just keep it coming. We'll just keep it coming. Somebody like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, it was kind of a... Okay, so it's written to Hebrew people. Now, a little bit of backstory, context, and understanding of why this book was written. Why this letter was written. For an extended period of time, the followers of Jesus, people of the way, had experienced an extended time of peace. There was peace. Peace around those who claimed Jesus was the Messiah, that he was the way, the truth, and the life, that nobody gets to the Father except through him. Their lives were reasonably peaceful. Now, by the time this letter is written, much persecution has arisen. There are new leaders and emperors that are beginning to execute people who claim Jesus to be God. They are feeding them to lions and coliseums. They are beheading them. They are stopping going to their businesses or doing business with them. It is starting again to divide families and to rob people of their income. Now, following Jesus has become challenging, difficult. And many of these Hebrew believers are wavering. They're starting to wonder, is it worth it? They're starting to wonder, can I keep this up? They're starting to wonder, can I keep following Jesus? Should I keep following Jesus? Is this really what Jesus meant? What if it costs me my life, or worse? What if it costs the life of my children or loved ones? We have no money for food now. What's going on? Where's God? Jesus, you've left us. Is this what you meant? And all of a sudden, questions are inundating the believers. Should we continue our level of commitment to Jesus? Now, maybe you can relate. You say, well, Judah, no one's feeding us to lions and coliseums or beheading us or killing us. Although there are places on this earth, things such as those are in fact taking place because people claim that Jesus is the Messiah, that he is God. But for many of us in our setting, in our context, in our Western world, maybe that's not our reality. But I tell you what we can relate to. We can relate to wanting to take a break. Wanting to have a little less commitment. Now, about this time I say, have you ever felt like giving up? Now, the concept of giving up is so dramatic that oftentimes we think giving up is like cashing it all in, denying Jesus, and claiming there is no God. But I think one of the forms of giving up is not moving anymore. I think you can go back, but you can also just stop moving forward. Stop progressing. I want to say something about God that's imperative for us to understand. God is always moving, and he expects those who follow him to be doing the same. It's okay. You don't have to amen me. I get it. Because you know and I know the word moving, implicit within that concept, is change, transition, pain, uncomfortability, the unknown, the unfamiliar. I don't want to, God. I really like this season. Seasons come and seasons go. The one constant in the universe is change. Change. God is always moving. Have you ever felt tempted to just go, I'm just going to kind of camp here? Oh, maybe, sure, we've all probably felt a time or two like, I want to give up. I literally want to go back to my old life. I want to be who I used to be. At least there was the illusion of safety in that life. This is costing me too much. This is too uncomfortable. This is too difficult. My life has not gotten better. It's gotten worse since I started following Jesus. If you have ever felt like giving up, if you've ever felt like going back or staying right where you are and stopping the progress and the purpose of God in your life, this letter is for you. This letter is for you. And the impetus of this letter is very simple. The writer writes to the Hebrews to say Jesus is better. He's better than the sacrifice of bulls and goats. He's better than the law. He's better than trying to keep a list of rules. He's better. He did it for you. He's the best. He finished the work. And lastly, and not least, and not the least of which was also, don't give up. Don't go back to your old life. There's nothing back there. Keep progressing and keep moving.